Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together, we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys.
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Hey wife, did you know that Anchor is sponsoring our show?
Really? Don't we use Anchor to distribute our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, and we are on just about every other platform available as well, thanks to them.
Why do we use Anchor as our podcasting service?
Well, they make editing and distributing our show a breeze.
What if one of our listeners wants to start their own podcast?
Then they should head over to anchor.fm or download the app to get started.
Awesome! You guys should go do that right now! Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember what happened yesterday?
Didn't Absalom, cut off 25 pounds of hair?
I mean, something like that.
That's the important part I got out of it, right?
So Joab knew that King David was all satty pie because his rapey son was killed.
Right.
But his good son Absalom was in hiding.
Yeah, and he brought him back for him and shit.
Yeah. And
but then...
So Absalom is living with his wife and kids, and he's all happy, but he's like, I want to see the king. And David was like, no, but no.
So then he burns Joab's barley.
He's like...
Because, that's what you do when you want to see the king. You burn Joab's barley.
That's what I do when people don't return my text messages fast
I always
enough.
burn Joab's barley when I need to return... Yeah. I mean, that's what you... Joab's barley is burned so many times because of text messages. It's insane.
You only have a limited amount of time, and I need you to get back to me.
Yeah. Or Joab's barley's done.
Yeah.
Fuck Joab's barley.
I mean, dude needs a barley party stat.
All right. Anyway, that was 2 Samuel chapter 14. Mm-hmm. And today we are doing...
2 Samuel chapter 15.
All right, let's get into this shit.
Okie dokie. Okay, 2 Samuel chapter 15.
Okay.
And we are off to the race horses. The races? The horses. We're off to the races.
Yeah.
Go to the mattresses.
Whatever you say, darling.
That's from, what is that gangster movie that's based on the gangster book? Go to the mattresses.
God.
The Godfather. The Godfather. Go to the mattresses.
Sometimes you say shit and I'm looking at you like, where the fuck are you going with this line of thought?
My brain is everywhere, but go to the mattresses means we're going to camp out because our families are at war. And that's from The Godfather by Mario Puzo.
Got it.
But go to the mattresses is not the phrase I meant to say.
Okay.
We're off to the races.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this thing is called Absalom Revolts against David.
What the fuck?
See what I'm saying? So maybe they did go to the mattresses.
Man.
I know.
He's got a head full of hair.
You got a head full of something. Okay, so after this...
It's always this.
Well, you're supposed to have just read the last chapter, and this being David kissed his son because he's like, "Yay, you're back!"
Right? Okay.
Everything's happy now.
Okay, fair enough.
So after this, Absalom bought a chariot and horses, and he hired 50 bodyguards to run ahead of him.
That's not a good sign. That shows.
Maybe he's going to war.
What are you doing here, dude?
Alongside his dad-o.
What do you need, like a mini army and a chariot for?
Okay, look. His dad is always killing Ammonites and whatnot,
true.
right?
It's true.
So maybe he's like, okay, I'm back in the king's good graces. Now I got to get me some horses and some chariot things and iron whatevers and what have you, weapons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got to be at war with my dad-o.
People are always after his hair. So,
He's stupid. So Absalom got up early every morning and went out to the gate of the city. When people brought a case to the king for judgment, Absalom would ask where in Israel they were from, and they would tell him their tribe. See, he's helping his dad.
I guess. Okay. I'm reserving judgment here because he's got a chariot and he's going, according to the title of the chapter,
He's going to go to
he's
war
going
with
to
his
go
dad.
to war with his dad.
I know, but right now, as it currently stands,
Yeah.
I think he's trying to help David.
Well, but you could also look at this as he's going to people with grievances and he's talking to them before his dad. So he's like, what's your grievance? Oh, man, that really sucks. Yeah, I'm with you on, okay, yeah.
So he's
garnering support.
We have two separate takes on this.
Yeah,
Interesting.
right.
Interesting. I'm such a trusting soul, and you're so cynical. Then Absalom would say, whew, you've really got a strong case here. It's too bad the king doesn't have anyone to hear it. I wish I were the judge. I think you were right,
I think I might have been right, yeah.
If I were the judge, then everyone could bring their cases to me for judgment, and I would give them justice. Wow.
He's trying to usurp his dad.
He sure as fuck is.
He's like, my good hair can judge better than my dad.
And it wasn't enough that I burned down Joab's barley.
Yeah.
And I'm want to be the king now.
Right.
Damn. I did not see that coming.
Right?
What the fuck? When people tried to bow before him, Absalom wouldn't let them. Instead, he took them by the hand and kissed them.
Oh, he's playing the person of the people card
here. He's going to be the populist.
Right, yeah.
Nice. Well done, sir.
Yeah.
Absalom did this with everyone who came to the king for judgment, and so he stole the hearts of all the people of Israel. Because you know what? David may have killed his 10,000s, but you know what? Absalom killed his hearts. He charmed his 10,000s. Yeah. He made love to them with his eyes.
Right, and his hair.
Right. After 4 years.
Damn, that's a lot of kissing ass and sucking up to people.
Absalom said to the king, let me go to Hebron to offer a sacrifice to the Lord and fulfill a vow I made to him. For while your servant was at Geshur in Aram, I promised to sacrifice to the Lord in Hebron if he would bring me back to Jerusalem. So he's just like, everything's gravy, Daddo.
Yeah.
I'm fine, you're fine, we're all fine.
No nefarious thing's going to happen over here.
I'm totally not plotting a coup.
I had this plan for a long time to worship God.
Yes.
Yeah, worship God.
To worship God.
Yeah.
This is not a coup.
No, not in any way whatsoever.
The king told him, go and fulfill your vow. So Absalom went to Hebron, but while he was there, he sent secret messengers to all the tribes of Israel to stir up a rebellion against the king. You were so right. Holy shit.
Yeah.
You were not just kind of right. You were one. Did you read ahead?
No, not even a little bit.
You just knew?
I just assumed that's what,
wow.
Okay, they gave us the title of the fucking chapter.
Well, okay, but I assumed that David would have actually done something to earn his son's
This is the fucking Bible. It's stupid.
It's just that we had some kind of a story going here, And
I guess, yeah.
It's all over the place.
But when they, just
give you the headline.
Yeah, they give us the headline. So I'm just going with the headline, and my mind automatically goes to how to make this work. Oh, that's what's happening.
And there is no backstory and no background.
No, it doesn't matter at that point. You got the headline, you go with it.
And if the headline was there were pickles, it wouldn't even be and they planted and grew pickles. It would just be and suddenly there were pickles everywhere.
Right, yeah.
No, you're right.
Exactly.
As soon as you hear the ram's horn, his message read.
Yes.
You are to say, Absalom has been crowned king in Hebron.
Oh, shit.
God damn.
He is just skipping the whole fighting for it. He's just y'all are going to crown me and then we're going to fight because we're going to gather our forces and go down there and kill David.
This is a January 6th if I ever saw one.
Right? Damn.
He took 200 men from Jerusalem with him as guests, but they knew nothing of his intentions. This is so interesting.
Right? He's putting a lot on the line here. He must think pretty highly of himself.
Right?
And his fucking hair.
I'm curious about what gave him the notion that he was going to win over all the tribes.
I wonder why.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
What the fuck?
What makes you think that they're going to turn against David?
Right.
And then what makes you think that if they turn against David, they're going to pick David's son?
Right.
Who murdered the king's other son?
Right. Well, this is putting in a little bit more backstory as to what that story might be by William Faulkner as to Absalom, because... Absalom. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's turning into a bit of a... This
flake?
Is interesting.
He's a flake.
Well, it's something, yeah.
While Absalom was offering the sacrifices, he sent for Ahithophel, one of David's counselors who lived in Gilo. Soon, many others also joined Absalom, and the conspiracy gained momentum. Damn.
Wow.
This is very exciting. This is like reading texts that have come out of the January 6th hearings.
Right.
You know? A messenger soon arrived in Jerusalem to tell David, all Israel has joined Absalom in a conspiracy against you.
Whoa.
Ooh, then we must flee at once, or it will be too late, David urged his men.
What?
Ooh.
Why would you assume that?
Mm-hmm.
You just suddenly... Like, there must be something more going on here.
I know.
Because, like, why would David just assume that Israel just all of a sudden turned on him?
He got a messenger that said, hey, guy, everybody hates you, 1, 2, 3, go.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm going to look this shit up. This is
Right,
our Q&A
yeah.
tomorrow. What did we miss? There is backstory here.
Right, yeah. He must not have been... I mean, he probably beheaded more people than, we've heard about.
I'm sure he did.
Just saying.
David urged his men, hurry! If we get out of the city before Absalom arrives, both we and the city of Jerusalem will be spared from disaster.
Yeah.
We are with you, his advisors replied. Do what you think is best. So the king and all his household set out at once. He left no one behind except 10 of his concubines to look after the palace. Because fuck women is why.
Right, yeah.
The king and all his people set out on foot. All his people except, wives.
Right.
Multiple wives.
Yeah.
Pausing at the last house to let all the king's men move past to lead the way. There were 600 men from Gath who had come with David along with the king's bodyguard. Then the king turned and said to Ittai, a leader of the men from Gath, why are you coming with us? Go on back to King Absalom, for you are a guest in Israel, a foreigner in exile. You arrived only recently, and should I force you today to wander with us? I don't even know where we will go. Go on back and take your kinsmen with you, and may the Lord show you his unfailing love and faithfulness.
I guess that's awfully nice of David.
Magnanimous of him?
I don't really... This doesn't seem like David to me.
He's like
he's just giving up.
He's like, I think this is racist. I think he's pretending to be nice. Like, oh, I'm not going to make you choose sides. You're new here. Go on.
Right.
I think he's like... You're new. I don't like foreigners. Get the fuck out. But go with peace.
Right.
Have a nice whatever. I'm magnanimously
or maybe
being
he's
racist.
Maybe he's secretly testing loyalties too.
Okay.
Like he said, you can go, but if they go, they're gonna die.
He's gonna chop some head. But Ittai said to the king, I vow by the Lord and by your own life, I vow by your own life, that I will go wherever my lord the king goes, no matter what happens, whether it means life or death.
Okay,
I think he passed the test.
Yeah, seems like it.
David replied, come with us. So Ittai and all his men and their families went along. Everyone cried loudly as the king and his followers passed by. They crossed the Kidron Valley and then went out toward the wilderness. This is just badass. Zadok and all the Levites also came along carrying the Ark of the Covenant of God. They were like, I ain't taking my wives, but I am taking the Ark.
Well, I mean,
let's out.
That's God, essentially. Mm-hmm. But, like,
I left my wives
where
behind.
did God go during all this? Because
he's just watching.
Wouldn't you, like, summon Nathan before you
if I was David,
took off out of your city and shit?
I would have sat with the witchy woman,
right?
too.
And wouldn't you have, like, asked God, like, hey
God,
if I fight them, am I going to win? No? Okay, then it makes sense that you run. Mm-hmm. But, like, don't you ask first?
Yes.
I would ask.
Because Nathan seems to be in with God.
Right.
And also, hey, Nathan, is this shit true?
Right?
He's just like, oh, no, it's totally true. I believe it 100%.
Yeah.
So he must have reason to believe it. Like you said, there must be more going on here that we're just not privy to.
Yeah, no, it seems that way.
They set down the Ark of God, and Abiathar offered sacrifices until everyone had passed out of the city. Then the king instructed Zadok to take the Ark of the God back into the city.
What?
If the Lord sees fit, David said, he'll bring me back to see the Ark and the tabernacle again. But if he is through with me, then let him do whatever seems best to him. Okay.
Again, I don't understand why you're not talking to him.
He's just like, it is what it is.
This is like where you're like, I'm going to flip a coin, and if it lands on heads, I was meant to do this. If it lands on tails, I was meant to do that.
Yep.
And I mean, it's just about as, you know...
He's just like, it is what it is. God be with you or not. Whatevs.
But it often seems to me like, you know, things
guessing.
for God are just guesses.
They're just
like,
guessing. And not even good guesses.
Right, but whatever way it is, it's still God's will.
Uh-huh.
So it doesn't matter what happens.
It doesn't matter what you do.
It's always God's will.
Which is funny, because it's still that way today. Whatever you do, it's God's will.
Yeah, there is no
Except that also... other people will try to stop you from doing that, saying, that's not God's will. And I'm like, but it's literally
you guys
happening.
Can't have it both. Well, yeah, you do have it both ways. But you shouldn't be able to have it both ways because it's dumb. Yeah. If it happens, it's God's will, you dumbasses.
Yeah. Yeah.
So whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck off.
Fuck off. And, you know, die.
God apparently wanted abortion to happen since, you know, the 70s. And I'm just saying, like, he allowed that to happen. That was God's will.
It was God's will.
And
playing by your own words here,
right, yeah,
Christian,
yeah,
not what we believe.
Just, right.
Apparently God wanted it that way.
Yeah.
Either that or he's up in heaven crying. Who could know? Who could know?
But you can't say these things.
I don't understand. I'm trying to understand your language. I'm trying to...
Right, and you can't, like, this is... Have you ever seen the show, what is it? It's got Adam Sandler in it, and Big Daddy. Have you ever seen Big Daddy?
Yeah.
And they play a game with the kid, and the game's called I Win, because the kid's I win all the time. That's fucking God.
Do you remember when we played I Always Win or You're Always Wrong? Yeah. That's exactly what this is.
Right.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
You know what? Well said, husband.
Right.
It is bullshit.
That's the most, you know...
God's a dick, and this is bullshit.
Right, yeah.
The king also told Zadok the priest, look, here's my plan. You and Abiathar should return quietly to the city with your son Ahimaaz and Abiathar's son Jonathan. Another Jonathan. I will stop at the shallows of the Jordan River and wait there for a report from you.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going back into the city with my kids. Sounds great.
Right.
I'm very excited about this plan.
Right.
David.
Yeah.
Go. So Zadok and Abiathar took the Ark of God back to the city and stayed there. David walked up the road to the Mount of Olives, weeping as he went. Do you like my weeping?
That's great. It's good. Yeah.
It's pretty good weeping. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
His head was covered and his feet were bare as a sign of mourning.
Was he tearing his clothes also?
It didn't say that, but let's pretend they were.
Okay.
And the people who were with him covered their heads and wept as they climbed up the hill. When someone told David that his advisor Ahithophel was now backing Absalom,
whoa!
David prayed, "Oh Lord, let Ahithophel give Absalom foolish advice."
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
you
like,
do that, God.
May the force not be with you.
Maybe.
May the odds not be ever in your favor.
You know, why wouldn't God try to, like, not make conflict happen at all? Like, people don't have to die.
I put that forth one time and somebody said, you act as if you want to live in a utopia. The world you present is a utopia that doesn't exist. And I'm like, no, you're right. But shouldn't that be what we're all, like, aspiring to?
Right? Yeah, like, if the world was a utopia, that would be fucking awesome.
I mean, yes, there is always going to be hardship, and that's how we tell the difference between good and bad.
Right.
But we should always be trying to get a world that has less bad in it.
Right. I would settle for, like, 3/4 of utopia.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be fucking great.
I mean, we're not going to get rid of, like, rapists, but we could chop more balls off.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Sure.
I guess. I don't know.
There's got to be some way to do it.
Conversely, we could also get rid of the death penalty since,
right.
Life matters.
Yeah.
Right?
But only in certain cases, so.
I guess.
According to the religious right.
It's true, so. Yeah. Life doesn't matter once you're born.
Right.
When David reached the summit of the Mount of Olives, where people worshipped God, Hushai the Archite was waiting there for him. Hushai had torn his clothing.
There's some torn. Yeah, good. Somebody tore their clothing. And put dirt on his head as a sign of mourning. There it is.
Yep.
There it is.
But David told him, if you go with me, you will only be a burden. Ooh!
Damn.
Return to Jerusalem and tell Absalom, I will now be your advisor, O king, just as I was your father's advisor in the past. Then you can frustrate and counter Ahithophel's advice.
Oh, so he's sending in a spy.
Okay.
I guess, right?
You'll be a burden to me, so go over there and be a spy for me instead.
Right.
Wow.
Basically, is that what he's saying?
I mean, that's what he just said.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm like, he's basically going, you're a piece of shit. Hey, go do some work for me.
Right, it doesn't seem like good inspirational shit.
I'd be like, I'm a piece of shit, so how about if I don't go do work for you?
Right.
How about that?
Yeah.
Zadok and Abiathar, the priests, will be there. Tell them about the plans being made in the king's palace, and they will send their sons Ahimaaz and Jonathan to tell me what is going on.
Ah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, spies.
So, again, he's saying, you're a piece of shit burden to me. I can't even fucking have you with me because you're so troublesome.
Right.
Hey, go do work for me, please. Thank you.
Right.
So, David's friend, Hushai, returned to Jerusalem, getting there just as Absalom arrived. The end.
Okay.
This is a cliffhanger and a half, and
right?
we gotta wait the weekend.
I know. Well, that's,
This is one of the few times when I'm actually like...
like, what the fuck's gonna happen?
What is happening?
It's alright, you know what? They're gonna give it away in the title of the next one.
It's true. But I try really hard not to peek ahead.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, until, like, right as I'm about to read it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then I'm like, oh, this will be boring.
So we've talked about it on and off, like, rewriting the Bible in our own words. I feel like that if we rewrote the Bible, we need to leave off the titles.
Oh, definitely.
That are giving away what's happening. Like, it needs to be more of a story, right? It needs to be more suspenseful and, like, intriguing.
Yeah. Cliffhangers and, you know, don't tell me the headline.
Right,
like, literally, this is the first time I've read this book. I don't want to know what's about to happen. I want it to be fresh.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it irritates me sometimes.
It irritates me too.
Whatever.
But, I mean, well, I guess, here in the middle of this podcast, should we talk about, like, should I stop reading the headlines?
I don't think so, because it's all part of the Bible.
Right.
Like, we're still reading the Bible, so I think we should still read the headlines and just continue to mock them for doing it.
The headlines aren't necessarily part of the Bible. The headlines, I think, are the person who, like, compiled this
right.
edition.
But if you were to pick up the Bible today and read it, you would read that as you were reading the Bible.
Not necessarily, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
I don't know that the headlines are part of the Bible.
Oh.
I don't know that they aren't, but I don't think they are.
Well, we should look into that, I guess.
Okay. Then that is question number 2.
Yeah. Okay.
And if they are not part of the Bible, should I stop reading the headlines?
Well, yeah, if they're not part of the Bible, for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
So we made that decision.
We sure did.
I mean, we made a decision to make a decision anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll get back to y'all.
Right. So, anyway, that was the end of that chapter, which was 2 Samuel chapter 15.
Yep.
And tomorrow is going to be Saturday. Q&A.
Sunday is our weekly replay, along with including the next section of our book club, our sacrilegious book club, in which we are covering the next bit, and I don't have the pages in front of me.
Oh, way to go.
Of Asimov's Guide to the Bible, but we're still in Genesis, and if you have the book, you know where I'm at. If you don't have the book, you don't give a shit what pages we're on anyways. I mean,
we'll mention them tomorrow in the Q&A.
Of course.
So, and then I want to mention this too. So we'll be doing the weekly replay also on Sunday, obviously, as always. And then we need to get together a Patreon only episode too.
Oh yes, we do.
We're overdue again.
Okay.
We're woefully bad at this. So.
Do you have something in mind, or do you want to talk about it over the weekend?
Yeah, we're going to talk about it and figure it out and surprise everybody.
I mean, we've already done abortion, and I don't really want to visit that again, even though it is still up in the air.
Right.
I really don't want to touch the gun stuff because I'm just so distraught.
Yeah.
The world is on fire, and I don't know.
Maybe we'll do a fun one just to like upbeat or something.
Okay,
you know?
Yeah, we could try that.
I don't know. We'll see. We don't know.
Yeah, they don't all have to be sad.
Not always. I mean,
It's just hard because everything is so important right
true.
now, and everything is falling apart.
Right.
So I don't know. We'll see.
All right, sounds good. So anyway, we already covered what was coming up tomorrow, the next day, and everything.
And then Monday we'll be back to see what happens with this cliffhanger for 2 Samuel chapter 16.
All right, we'll see you guys then.
Bye.
Hey, wife, I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep, we have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.